Hello everyone and welcome back to round 3 of the F124 Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Jeddah, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was one of the weirder races we've ever done inside this series, but did leave us with a very, very dramatic conclusion. Quickly as well, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support on this series. You know, the first couple of rounds of this new season have done really, really well. I think it might be ever so slightly to do with the fact that we are now a Ferrari Formula 1 driver. But yeah, I'm loving this series at the moment, really having a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys are as well. Taking a look, obviously, as we head into Albert Park, Australia, of course, we've got 3 pretty high-speed circuits to kickstart the year. Obviously, after this weekend, things start to tail off slightly. Obviously, we've got Japan next time out. And then obviously we've got China and Miami, a couple of sprint weekends as well. So yeah, plenty going on inside this series, and of course plenty going on in terms of an early championship fight as well there. Charles Leclerc still leads the way, 12 points clear of myself, but yeah, consistency I think is going to pay this year. 2-3 P3s for us, currently leaves us P2 in the championship, just 1 point ahead of Fernando Alonso. Ferrari was still clear out front of the Constructors' title. I'm hoping, because Charles and I are both, hopefully, 2 pretty good drivers, that we're going to be able to bring the fight to Max Verstappen and Red Bull over the course of this year. Red Bull do seem to have taken a little bit longer to fire up. Admittedly, though, Max did still win last time out on the Jeddah Corniche. But yeah, returning to Albert Park, though, this weekend, got some pretty happy memories of this circuit inside this game. Not so much, though, in this series. Of course, we had that horror crash all the way back in Season 1, so I'm hoping we don't have a repeat of that today.
Albert Park welcomes you. Let's get this show on the road then. It's practice here in Australia.
Well, we're kind of at a bit of a weird point now on the channel. This series, the My Team series, and the Williams Road to Glory have all kind of collapsed on top of each other.
Distance is on your MFD.
I'm pretty certain in the next 24 hours I need to do 2 100% Grand Prix around the Japanese Grand Prix circuit. Obviously, 2 50% races in this and My Team, and then a 100% race live over on Twitch in the Williams RTG. So lots of Suzuka coming up, but of course it does also mean I've done lots of Albert Park Australia in recent days as well. So hopefully this weekend we're going to be up to speed. But yeah, as we make our way into free practice though, of course, as always, just using those hopeful purple scores to build up a bit of confidence. We make our way then out of the final corner. I always seem to get purple in every single one, except for 1 green score on the lap. I'm going to go through and do the other pre-practice programs, but I'll see you guys in qualifying.
Hello everyone, it is time for qualifying at one of our very favourite stops on the calendar. It's Albert Park, and we're about to take the cars right up to the edge.
Well, Ferrari historically then have often gone pretty well around here at Albert Park. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel took a couple of wins for the team back in 2017 and 2018. Obviously, Charles Leclerc absolutely dominated the weekend in 2022. And let's not forget, of course, in 2024, Carlos Sainz able to win here as well. Helped, of course, by Max Verstappen's issues very early on in the race, which saw his retirement. Maybe we could get the same kind of luck this weekend inside this series. Pole lap, though, I reckon is going to be a high 1 minute 15. So that's what we're aiming for as we head straight out into Q2. It is all about just getting the car hooked up over the curbs. I mean, we know as well, qualifying is not irrelevant, but slightly less important. It is all about just where you find yourself inside the DRS trains as you move into the Grand Prix. That worked really well for us in the My Team career mode. Out of the final corner, though, up towards the start-finish line, it is going to be a 1:16.0. We go immediately to the top of the board. Well, there we go. We love to see it. Ferrari 1 and 2 at the end of Q2 there. Lando Norris goes up ahead of the Red Bulls. So clearly, yeah, both McLaren cars back on the money this weekend. They struggled a bit around the Jeddah Corniche, so I think they ultimately don't have as quite a high top speed setup on the car. 1,000th of a second in it between Red Bull drivers as well. There is probably a 6-way scrap here for pole position. Let's not forget the local boy, Oscar Piastri. He's often really good around Melbourne. And, even more impressively, Daniel Ricciardo squeezes into Q3. I think every weekend so far, that V-Carb has snookered P10 away from Lance Stroll. While the ramp-up in Q3 is something like we've never seen before inside F124. Happened in both Bahrain and in Jeddah. The times just continue to develop and drop as you go to the end of qualifying. 75-second lap times around here would be absolutely unthinkable just a couple of years ago, but big track changes have certainly made this place an even more exciting venue. Haven't lost the magic though, those first couple of corners, where you've absolutely got to try and send it in. But yeah, we just got to try and get this first lap on the board, a decent banker, allow the car to really roll through the corners. You really want to allow it to kind of slip and slide around a little bit underneath you. Now we just got to try and get it hooked up through the final couple of corners of the lap, braking just before the 100-meter board there. Fourth gear that time round. We've got the confidence to know we can carry the speed off the corner. Actually gave me a little bit too much speed into that penultimate right-hander of the lap. One more left and one more right as you make your way back up towards the start-finish line then. It is a very, very quick lap time here, but up towards the line, it is going to be a 1:15.6 immediately to the top of the board. Could we be on for our second Ferrari pole? We have got 3.5 tenths of a second over Charles Leclerc at the moment, but basically everybody else is back out for one final run. One of those Red Bulls hasn't got enough sets of tyres, but I could not tell you which one it is. Basically now we're just trying to see if we can improve that first lap time. So we head back out, see if we can use the battery a little bit more effectively there, as once again absolutely fling it through turn 1 and turn 2. It is so satisfying when you get it hooked up, but we're going to try and save a little bit more battery for the second half of the lap this time round. Slightly earlier on the brakes through the exit of Sector 1. But we've done alright there, still only a tenth down at the moment, less than that, as you just try and lean on the car just that little bit more. Absolutely sent it through the fast chicane once again. It would be nice to see Leclerc dip down into the 1 minute 15s, but yeah, as long as we try and claim that pole position once again to showcase to our teammate just how quick we are. Verstappen joins us on the front row though, as we are continuing to improve our big snap as we nudge the curb on the inside of the back straight. That was really not what we wanted to do, but I think we have locked ourselves out on the front row of the grid once again then. So clearly our one lap pace at the moment looking very, very competitive inside this game. Will we be able to improve though and just open up our margin over the Dutchman through the final couple of corners? We're going to go roll on that throttle once again, utilise the battery, a tenth and a half up. It is going to be a 1:15.5. It is P1.
Excellent lap. We're all very, very pleased with that one. Nice work. Come on, I'll see you back in the pits.
Well, Max Verstappen's final run, yeah, did get very, very close in the end, only 2 tenths away, but happy we were able to find that little bit of extra breathing room right towards the end of the session. Back-to-back pole positions inside this series. I feel like all those issues we had with the car back in Bahrain, we seem to have got just about figured out. So let's head then trackside, ready for the Grand Prix.
Welcome to Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. For many years it was the season opener, but in recent times it fell victim to the pandemic reshuffling. I'm happy to say it is now back at the heart of the F1 calendar. It's Albert Park circuit, 3.2 miles of bumpy city streets. We have changed the turns at 1, 3, 6 and 13. They have all been widened. We've got rid of the chicane at 9 and 10. That is now a flat-out right-hander. It's a new look that made its debut in 2022. New life into an old classic. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Russell, Perez, Norris, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Sainz, Tsunoda, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Joe, Ocon, Vesti, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. It's race day, it's going to be a thriller. I'm Alex Jakes, alongside me is Naomi Schiff. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How did they change the story today?
It is true, they had a really tough day in the office last time out, but they cannot dwell on that. It's so important to turn the page and start on a blank slate, because the more you dwell on that, the less it's going to push you in the right direction. So take some notes. Obviously, there's things to be learned, but move on.
Well, clearly then Alex Jakes has moved away from his pre-race routines and is now solely focused on how badly I did last weekend. Once again, we walked away with another trophy, so I'm not really sure we can complain all too much. Ferrari yet so far this season. For Ferrari yet to have a car not finish on the podium, which is a pretty good track record, although I'm sure will be absolutely shattered in the very near future. And to be honest, it'll probably end up being my fault. But ready then on the grid, 29 laps ahead of us. We were unable to convert in Jeddah. I would love to try and get the big result here today. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to start on the mediums here for the Australian Grand Prix. It is 5 red lights on the grid here in Albert Park. It's a mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go. Verstappen initially responding a little bit better to the lights than myself. He's going to try and have a look down the inside down at turn 1. And the Dutchman there, just didn't quite know where he was going to position himself. And we left ourselves vulnerable to Oscar Piastri on the exit of the corner as well then. So first on the grid, straight down to P3 off the start of the GP there. Really not ideal. We'll slot in just ahead of Charles Leclerc. Like I said, I didn't quite know how aggressive Verstappen was going to be into that first corner, and well, shades of Bahrain still just playing on my mind there. I didn't want to pick up front wing damage once again, because this car, yeah, is very, very pitch sensitive. If you just got that slight aerodynamic imbalance, it suddenly becomes not a very fun place to be. But as we make our way then down the back straight, lap 1, immediately under pressure from our teammate as well, who's clearly got a lot of straight line speed. Yeah, not going to make it that easy for you, Charlie boy. I think, yes, certainly last weekend we have proven, maybe a bit too early for Ferrari's liking this season, that we are up to pace. We can fight for a world title this year. Whether that ends up being exclusively with our teammate or whether Max Verstappen as well gets himself in that fight, all will be revealed later on as the season continues to develop there. But Verstappen leads at the end of lap 1. Local boy Oscar Piastri, though, P2. I don't know how many times I've seen him finish in that position on this game.
This lap, we can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Yeah, Oscar Piastri always seems able to break the no Australian podium curse, but he never seems to be able to win this one. Oh, here we go. Are we going to see Oscar Piastri then get the run to the outside of Max Verstappen, try and move himself up into the lead of the race? Dutchman not wanting to back out of it. We're going to try and get a run on the exit of the corner. And yeah, the Dutchman there caught a little bit napping. Plenty of curb though. Going to leave him with the inside line in towards that penultimate corner. And we try and get on the throttle. Try and switch him off the exit of the final turn. As Oscar Piastri sensing a chance just to scamper away a little bit early on. To the outside of the Dutchman again as Perez new fast lap of the day. And Max Verstappen actually backs out.
Posted the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, not sure why Verstappen backed out as early as he did there, but we'll take it. I can already tell by following Oscar Piastri around, that McLaren is definitely not as efficient as the Red Bull and the Ferrari in a straight line. It might mean, though, that they are very, very strong in the next few rounds of the year there, as Oscar Piastri practically invites me past him down the back straight. Up into the lead we'll go then for the first time since the start. How long will we be able to hold on to it? Well, I'm sure it's going to be a very different story if Charles Leclerc can get round Oscar Piastri, but at the moment, the McLaren, he can't get close enough to me down the straights. We've got enough launch off of the corners, and he's running so much more aero. He gets within about 3/10, but can't seem to make the move, so this is absolutely perfect early on. We're just going to keep positioning the car where we are. It's giving us a lot of clear air just to focus on looking after the tyres. Obviously, something that we didn't manage to do very well in Jeddah. But yeah, Oscar Piastri can't get close. Well, really what you tend to find here is that the AI, the first kind of 7 or 8 laps, they really battle each other. They really try and figure out what the pecking order's like. And then you kind of all get a bit of calm as everyone basically then starts to work out when they get a box. Undercuts are still very strong inside F124. Albert Park, though, isn't a particularly prominent circuit for it. Where it is so high speed, obviously you don't really gain much time in a straight line whether you're on fresh tyres or not. So it is something we've still got to factor in, but it might be that we let Charles Leclerc box first and try to make sure that he doesn't get undercut by the Red Bulls. We've still got to play the strategy game. Just starting to struggle a little bit more with rear tyre temperature as well. Just getting a little bit of oversteer in a couple of places around the lap. It is a very, very warm March day here in the land down under. Of course, basically heading into their autumn. Still, yeah, very, very warm climate here. Oscar Piastri starting to close in just a little bit. We know how good that McLaren is at looking after its tyres, as don't really want to end up in the pit wall there, as, yeah, this time round we might be vulnerable. Piastri not able to get close enough down to turn 1, but this is the closest he's been in a long old while. Yeah, I'm not really sure there's going to be anything we can do here. Oscar Piastri far too close behind. I was trying to give him just the easy route through, but here comes Charles Leclerc as well. And that's just how quick things can change here around Australia. Oh, almost pushing our teammate along on the exit of the corner. I'm happy we've still stayed ahead of Max Verstappen. Will this leave Piastri vulnerable next time round, though, to Charles Leclerc? Oh, here we go. Leclerc's not even going to wait for the back straight. He's going to try to look down the inside of turn 1. Plan failed that time round. We again, just, you always worry with the AI when they do something like that. You got no idea where they're going to end up. But more often than not, it's on your front wing. Come on, Charles. I mean, he's got so much speed around the outside of Oscar Piastri. He'll go. Is he able to hook it up the long way around? Yes, he is. And Charles Leclerc up into the lead then of this Grand Prix. We're now going to try and attack the McLaren driver as well. Down around the outside, we're going to try and go as well into the next corner. Oscar Piastri, though, does not give up on that one. He does just about give us the room on the exit of the corner, but all this is doing is providing Charles Leclerc an opportunity to just break free down the inside of the McLaren again, who gets late on the brakes there. And unfortunately, I can't pit. I was waiting to see if Charles Leclerc would box this lap. Unfortunately, though, with the McLaren on my inside, unable to do so. So it's either now we have to double stack next time round, as here goes the Dutchman again down our inside at turn 1. Max Verstappen suddenly rejoining the party. And now we are in big trouble. Well, if for whatever reason Charles Leclerc doesn't box this time round, then we are absolutely going to be peeling into the pits. So much speed again over Oscar Piastri, though. This time round, it's not really much of a contest for us.
Box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance and speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
I'm not convinced we're going to be able to box there, as the gap to Charles Leclerc is still up over a second. Let's wait and see. If he comes in, we can. If he doesn't dive in, we absolutely are. Come on, Charles, through the final corner. He doesn't pit. Okay, Charles Leclerc's not into the pit lane then, so Charles really wants to extend this first stint. We've got to make sure we don't get done for speeding. No risk whatsoever. That time round on pit lane entries into our pit box we're going to go. Hopefully we'll come out ahead of all that traffic. Yes, we just about will.
Turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
So it looks like Verstappen then has been held up in all of the commotion, so really not ideal for him.
Exit will receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Ollie Behrman in that Williams. Haven't seen much of him early on this season. Has had a very quiet little start to his life in Formula 1. I'll be honest, just kind of forgot he was racing, to be real with you all, but maybe we'll get to see him in that Williams in a moment. Well, I would assume we're going to see every other car then peeling into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Ollie Behrman's not going to try and get a lap lead under his belt or anything crazy like that. As the Williams driver, yeah, we just couldn't quite clean the DRS off him. Where are we going to be out relative to Charles, though? The undercut has worked pretty nicely.
0.5 seconds.
Just going to slot in behind him through turn 1, but round the outside on the exit of the corner will go. And up into the lead once more then. Ferrari now with a 2-second lead over Oscar Piastri, as Verstappen has been the big loser in all of this, finds himself down behind his teammate. And now, suddenly, they've got a lot of work to do. Is it going to be a Ferrari fight for the win?
Remember to adjust your ERS mode in your MFD if you need to.
I think that's code for Mark saying, get on with it, try and get away from him. We have obviously got our tyres up to temperature. Charles Leclerc doesn't have the same luxury just yet, but I'm not convinced we're going to be able to do anything here, as Yuki Tsunoda now at the Grand Prix. So disappointment for a former Ferrari man, as Charles Leclerc practically pushing me along down the back straight. He then tries to open up the door again on the exit of the corner. I don't want to come to blows with our teammate, but I mean, if he wants to push me along, then I'm happy to let him. Can't quite get close enough down in towards the final corner. Still going to send it, though. This is big moments for Ferrari. Fred Vasseur I'm sure we'll be struggling to watch on, but we hang on for now. I'm happy to let Leclerc by. I think he's got the pace over Oscar Piastri at the moment. I'm happy just to hang on to his coat titles there.
Come in for the hard tyres. Car behind, running hard tyres.
There we go. Max Verstappen, new fast lap of the day, so he is still clearly pushing on. We just got to try and keep Oscar Piastri at bay, as there is that stricken Alpine. Well, I think Charles and I... Oh, what?
Stay positive.
I've never heard that voice before. What on earth is that?
Cars out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track. Be careful.
Well, we've got no one out of the Grand Prix. I can't see anything on the mini-map, so no idea what that's about. But safety car deployed here in Albert Park. First safety car, I believe, of the year. Do we box again? Do we try and go to the soft compound tyres for the rest of the afternoon? I think we've got to split our strategy down at Ferrari to hopefully have the advantage towards the end. Charles and I are really tripping over each other, so if he pits, I'll stay out. If he stays out, I'm going to pit then, so it's not going to be a particularly long run to the end of the afternoon.
Too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Make sure we get the car slowed down. Oh, I'm not convinced this is a good idea. We're going to have a lot of cars to try and get through before the end of the afternoon.
Go! That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
Oh, I'm really not feeling good about this one. I think one of the Haas, though, Pierre Gasly's nailed that because he hadn't boxed already.
One stop left in this strategy.
Now, we've got to look after these tyres under the safety car, but we do come out still in the points. Ooh, okay. Okay, safety car in there very, very early.
Racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
Well, I was hoping, honestly, it would stay out one lap longer here, because we're going to have a long way to go on this set of the soft compounded tyre. I guess it allows me to hopefully have more time to make moves, as we have been caught napping through those final couple of corners. Is this our first ever proper Ferrari Strategy Grand Prix? Only time will tell. We have got 10 laps to make an impact.
Keep taking care of them.
I think a lot of it is going to be down to managing these tyres, regulating the temperature, and then, of course, trying to make moves down that back straight. But it will also depend on how the rest of the AI bunch up. Charles Leclerc still leading, but he's now got Oscar Piastri breathing down his neck. We should have the straight line speed anyway. We've got the grip off of the corners now as Lance Stroll clearly wants to try and defend rather aggressively from me. Not a lot the Aston Martin driver is going to be able to do, though.
That brings you up a place.
Both of us just trying to balance our overtake mode there down the back straight. I just had to make sure that we got the nose down the inside as Fernando Alonso going to be next up on the old hit list. The Aston Martin really, hasn't been strong since Bahrain to kickstart the year. Around the outside we'll go. We've got the grip right now. We've got to use it. DRS, of course, now being enabled on the second restart lap. It's really, really useful for us, especially for some reason when Hamilton isn't using his. Oh, what was that? Lando Norris kind of tucked in until the very last moment and then decided he wanted to try and get a run on Lewis Hamilton here. We've got no battery to make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. And again, Norris wanted to try and move around there. It's a bit of a robust move down the inside. Luckily as well, we have now claimed fastest lap, so even if we can't walk away with a big result, hopefully...
2.2 seconds.
Yeah, you can see those top 5 cars are really battling it out with each other, but yeah, hopefully, at the very least, we'll get the bonus point here. Battery management is the other critical thing in this race, as Oscar Piastri now back up into the lead. You can see, yeah, they're right there. My strength seems to actually lie on the exit of this chicane, so it's a bit of a shorter run. But we seem to be able to carry more speed out there to the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Thought we were going to be able to get him on the brakes. Oh, Lewis didn't want to back out of it, but luckily we swooped right the way through. Leclerc back to the front of the field again. He and Oscar Piastri putting on a show, but we are closing in. Right, come on then, we made the move on Hamilton last time. Oh, we're not going to be able to make the move on Russell if I make mistakes like that, though. We still, though, able to find the speed as Leclerc and Piastri, you can see again, fighting just up the road. We've got to start considering the tyres, though, late on here. They are not going to be pretty by the end of this race. We need to manage the temperatures. We've got more yellow flags out. I think someone else down the rear of the field has gone. I think that was just a Sauber locking up. Well, there we go. We are back with the group that we were fighting with early on in this race. And now we're going to try and get a run on Sergio Perez. Got to use so much battery to put alongside the AI down here, but that's exactly what we'll do. And the Mexican really doesn't think it's a battle worth having right now. I think all of them starting to get a little bit worried about the pace we've got. Here goes Verstappen to the outside of Oscar Piastri, watching all these battles going on. Oh, it's good viewing for me as Piastri gets pinched on the inside of the corner. We've got yellows out for somebody.
There's a yellow flag ahead.
Now, Hulkenberg looks like he's retired from the Grand Prix. As Oscar Piastri really doesn't want to actually let me keep the place. He's not. Oscar Piastri there, I mean, surely he planned that move under yellow flags, but I guess the FIA are going to allow it. Down the inside we'll go, though. Back down towards turn 1. A little bit of contact made as I tried to pinch the McLaren, but Verstappen and Leclerc now running away at the front of the field. Have we got enough life left in these tyres? Oh, here we go, Verstappen to the outside of Leclerc. He has not really been in the fight for the lead since very early on, but Max Verstappen, he has bided his time. He has waited patiently, and back up now he'll go into the lead of the Grand Prix.
It's just moved into first place.
Apparently Max Verstappen's a bit like Voldemort in this game. Mark Priestley refusing to speak his name. But yeah, as we make our way out of the final corner, 4 more laps to go here from Albert Park. I'm happy to sit in where we are for a little while and just look after our tyres. I mean, again, this Ferrari's definitely got more straight line speed. We saw Charles Leclerc try to utilise it in Jeddah. No. Second time this year, Mark has tried to get me into the pit lane, and the second time round he's going to be unsuccessful with it. But yeah, Leclerc is able to go fully around the outside of the Dutchman. Max Verstappen's only able to get alongside Charles Leclerc, so we've got to use that late on. But it's how can we get ourselves to the front of the order? Well, that's not good. Tyre warning lights already flashed up then, and we've still got 3 more laps to go of this race. I think, though, what we're seeing right now is a bit of a precursor to what this championship story is going to be all about. Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen fighting, and us desperately just trying to hang on to it. There goes the Dutchman around the outside. This time around he's going to swoop back through and up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Are we going to see Leclerc vulnerable on the exit of the corner? Yes, we are. Around the outside of our teammate, we're going to try and pounce. Come on, we got to work together here, Charlie boy, and he doesn't want to. Try to keep the nose down the inside. We get oversteer, and that just allows Verstappen to inch away. Well, the problem I've got now is these tyres are really giving up the ghost, so I've got to go for the move on Verstappen this lap. Otherwise, I might not get another opportunity here. Drain the battery. Just want to try and keep a little bit in reserve, though. We know we are still strong for this second chicane. Just over a lap to go here from Albert Park. And are we going to see another race victory slip through our fingers? Or this time round, are we going to be able to convert it there around the outside of the Dutchman? We've got the straight line speed to get round him. And for the second weekend in a row, we're going to start the last lap in the lead. We knew in Jeddah, obviously, it was down to penalties. This one has been more of a traditional dogfight around at the Albert Park Grand Prix circuit. It's Ferrari versus Red Bull, Leclerc, myself, versus Max Verstappen. I think he might get a run on me back down towards turn 1. But let's try and use a little bit of batteries. Oh, here comes Charles Leclerc as well, having a look down the inside at the first corner. I think Leclerc thought better of it and just decided to tuck back in there. As are we going to see Verstappen again able to get a run around the outside up in towards turn 3. We'll try and keep the nose there. We run him very, very deep into the corner there, and Max Verstappen forced to back out of that one yet again, and now he's going to be under pressure from our teammate. I wonder if there's a little bit of cat and mouse play going on between the Dutchman and Charles Leclerc here, but Ferrari, we took a risky strategy gamble to try and box over onto a set of soft compound tyres. They haven't really lasted as well as I hoped they would, but as we try and drain the battery down this back straight, if we can defend this now, there might not be a lot more that Max Verstappen can do here in towards the final sector of the Australian Grand Prix. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there. We run just ever so slightly wide, but Verstappen, he hasn't got the run. Charles Leclerc down the inside of Max Verstappen here as we start to get more rear locking as well. We could still lose a drag race back to the finish line between ourselves and our teammate here, so we need to just try and keep the car planted. What is the tyre we're up to? 80% on that front left, but through the final couple of corners we're going to go. It is going to be our first ever victory for Ferrari Formula 1 team. Grazie ragazzi.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys! Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Albert Park. Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, for the second weekend in a row then, we took pole position, we bagged fastest lap, and we crossed the line in first place. But this time round, we get to keep all 25 points for our troubles. 26 points even this weekend. What a race that was. And I thought, well, we were what? All three of us covered by half a second in Jeddah. This time round, all three of us covered by 0.3 of a second. Looking at the final classification there, I think we're going to have a really good title fight. Maybe even a three-way title fight this year between ourselves, Leclerc, and Max Verstappen there. And all three of us have taken a race victory as well, which is pretty impressive to kickstart the campaign. Oscar Piastri P4 beating out a resurgent George Russell late on in the day ahead of Perez, Hamilton, Norris, and both of those Aston Martins. Means once again, it is just the big five teams that are able to walk away with the points there. Fred Vesti able to beat out his fellow rookie in Ollie Behrman, and just Hulkenberg and Tsunoda, of course, the man that used to be my teammate, and the man I replaced at Ferrari as well. They're both failing to see the checkered flag. That means if we take a look at the championship standings, the gap at the top of the table has been cut down to just 4 points between ourselves and Leclerc, but it is still a Ferrari 1-2 in the championship, and our first 1-2 of the year for the team there. Max Verstappen P3 ahead of the ever-consistent Oscar Piastri. Alonso just starting to struggle a little bit ahead of Hamilton and Sergio Perez there. And yeah, those are big points for George Russell. The first big haul of his season so far. Constructors-wise, we've got a 55-point lead over Red Bull as well, so that is certainly looking very, very good early on in the campaign, and Aston Martin still ahead of Mercedes AMG Petronas there. But finally, I thought last weekend that we might be a little bit cursed inside this game, but we have immediately gone and squashed those rumours and lack of belief in myself. We are a Ferrari Formula 1 Grand Prix winner. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Japanese Grand Prix.